Hello, everybody. I'm going to talk about issues of the day. I had my newsletters, and um, I've been working on my uh, to catch up with the newsletters because there were gaps in between. I've been doing a lot of things, and I hadn't had an opportunity to work on my newsletters. So they were kind of like being a gap of 1 month, 2 months, released late. So I decided, since it's the end of the year, I decided to bring everything on board and and end the year with an update. I've released October, November, and I wanted to give more clarity because I put in a lot of stuff in the October edition. I talked of issues pertaining to cyber news. October, there was a Vietnamese cybercrime groups actively targeting organizations in the UK, USA, and India with various info stealers and remote access trojans. It was These were reported by Weed Secure, cybersecurity firm. A connection was noticed between recent Darkgate malware attacks and a group running a campaign to hijack Meta business accounts because both attacks use the same infrastructure. Cybersecurity firm with Secure, formerly F Secure Business, has uncovered the link between the recent Darkgate malware attacks targeting its customers and Vietnam-based threat actors operating a campaign to hijack Meta business accounts and steal sensitive data. According to WidSecure's detection and response team DRT, multiple infection attempts with Darkgate malware were made against their clients' organizations in the UK, USA, and India on 4th August 2023. The Lure documents target patterns, themes, delivery methods, and overall attack tactics closely resemble the attack mechanism observed in the recent Darktail InfoStealer campaigns. WidSecure has been tracking this InfoStealer for over a year. Darkgate is a remote access Trojan that first emerged in cyberspace in 2018. It is usually offered as a malware as a service tool to cyber criminals. It is a versatile malware employed in various malicious activities such as cryptojacking, information theft, and ransomware attacks. With Secure, researchers analyzed open source data linked to the Darkgate malware campaign and established links to multiple info stealers. This pattern indicates that the same group or threat actor is launching these attacks. By identifying characteristics of Darkgate malware, lures, and campaigns, we have been able to find multiple pivot points which lead to other information stealers and malware being used in very similar, if not identical, campaigns. And it is likely that the same threat actor group performs these campaigns. So the attack commenced with a file named salary and the new product's 8.4 zip. Once unwitting users downloaded and extracted it, a VBS script was activated. This script renamed and duplicated the original Windows binary curl.exe to a new location, connecting to an external server to retrieve two additional files, auto3.exe and a compiled auto3 script. Subsequently, the script executed the executable, deobfuscated, and assembled the Darkgate remote access Trojan using strings within the script. With Secure, uh, found strong identifiers that helped the company establish links between the two campaigns. They also noted that the attackers used many different malware and info stealers, including Darktail, Redline Stealer, and Labshot. Based on what was observed, it is very likely that a single actor was behind several of the campaigns. that 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 they were tracking, which Secure was tracking, these campaigns were targeting Meta business accounts. Um, so after obtaining control of an account, they can perform miscellaneous malicious activities, including distributing malware and conducting frauds. The lures and malicious documents used in the campaigns have similar identifiable metadata, including link drive ID, MSI file metadata, Canva PDF design service account details. These distinctive markers are digital fingerprints, helping researchers link disparate campaigns to a single actor. However, many other groups could be using the same malware, which highlights the need to dig deeper and find similarities in attack patterns rather than relying on malware based analysis. Darkgate has been around for a long time and is being used by many groups for different purposes. So, not just this group or cluster in Vietnam. According to threat intelligence analyst with WithSecure, organizations must remain vigilant and employ stringent cybersecurity mechanisms to prevent Darkgate and other malware threats. It is essential to ensure up to date antivirus solutions, educate employees on cybersecurity best practices, and use strong passwords backed by multi factor authentication and monitor network activity for suspicious behavior. There was another article on what is the dark web, search engines, and what not to do on the dark web. In this article, it wa- it delved deeper into what is the dark web, exploring its definition, the top dark web search engines, and crucially, the key precautions to observe when venturing into this hidden side of the internet. Um, I wanted to also point out to subscriptions, please click and and the link and subscribe. I very much welcome subscribers to my channel. Um, I have my newsletter has a good number of subscribers. I would like the same to be reflected on my YouTube channel. So I'll be whenever I release a newsletter, I'll be giving a short video explaining what is being covered in the newsletter i- in to complement. So in the hit, we go back to the dark web search engines and what not to do on the dark web. There's in the hidden part of the internet, there's a mysterious place called the dark web. It is like secret world where people go to find things that are not allowed on the regular internet. But it is an ideal place for whistleblowers, journalists, researchers, dissidents, people from all walks of life who want to protect their privacy online. So, in this article, which were issues of the day, October newsletter covered, we try to explain what the dark web, how you can get there, and the things you should and shouldn't do if you decide to check it out. So, the dark web, often mistakenly used interchangeably with the deep web, constitutes a small but significant portion of the vast internet. Unlike the surface web, which encompasses websites indexed by search engines, the deep web includes all web pages that aren't indexed, such as your personal emails and private databases. The dark web, however, goes further into obscurity. It operates on anonymous networks, most notably Tor, the Onion router, which reroutes internet traffic through multiple servers, making it exceedingly difficult to trace. This inherent anonymity has led to the proliferation of both malicious and legitimate attacks. However, illegal and illicit activities within this clandestine world. How to access the dark web? Accessing the dark web is not as straightforward as using mainstream web browsers like Chrome or Firefox. To begin your journey, follow these steps. Download and install Tor. Visit the official Tor project website to download and install the Tor browser, specifically designed for anonymous web browsing. Stay updated. Keep the Tor browser updated to ensure you have the latest security patches. Use a VPN option of one extra layer of anonymity. Consider using a virtual private network alongside Tor. Stay informed, familiarize yourself with the intricacies of Tor and its safety measures to minimize risks. You can also use the Brave browser to access the dark web and onion domains because the browser has its own Tor onion service accessible through the Tor gateway. It goes on to specify encompassing more than 250,000 websites. This makes Haystack a valuable resource on this list. Haystack also offers a paid version with added features, including the ability to search using regular expressions, access now defunct Onion sites, and utilize their API for those interested. Haystack's Onion link was given in the web on the newsletter. The Hidden Wiki. The Hidden Wiki serves as a dark web directory exclusively accessible through the Tor network. This site contains links to a variety of different websites, making it a valuable resource for those seeking to navigate the dark web safely and conveniently. Additionally, there is a Surface Web version available. Torch is a long-standing dark web search engine in operation since 1996. It performs the essential task of crawling addresses and indexing their content, making it searchable for users. However, it falls short in terms of search results accuracy as observed from personal experiences. Despite this, it remains a fast and useful tool. You can explore Torch through its Onion link, which I gave in the newsletter, October issue of Issues of the Day. What not to do on the dark web. The main purpose of the dark web was not to serve a specific single intent. Instead, it evolved as a hidden part of the internet where users could have increased privacy and anonymity. It was essentially developed by the US Naval Research Laboratory for secure communications. Over time, it has been used for various purposes, including protecting free speech, circumventing censorship, and enabling confidential and anonymous communication. However, it has also gained notoriety for being a space where illegal activities can occur due to the high degree of anonymity it offers. Therefore, it's important to note that while the dark web has legitimate uses, it has also become associated with illegal trade, hacking, and other illicit activities, including the following: engaging in illegal activities. The dark web is infamous for hosting illegal marketplaces where you can find everything from drugs and stolen data to counterfeit passports. Engaging in such activities is not only unethical, but also exposes you to legal repercussions. Share personal information, protect your identity on the dark web. Do not disclose your real name, location, or any personally identifiable information. Trust blindly. The dark web is rife with scams and deceit. Always exercise caution and skepticism when interacting with others. Download files recklessly. Downloading files from the dark web can be risky. Only obtain content from sources you trust and use strong antivirus software to scan downloads. Venture unprepared. Before exploring the dark web, educate yourself about the risks and equip your device with security measures. Participate in cybercrime. Participating in cybercrime or black hat activities on the dark web is both illegal and unethical, carrying serious consequences. Black hat attackers engage in activities that compromise computer systems, steal sensitive data, and cause harm to individuals, organizations, and even governments. These actions violate not only the law but also principles of digital ethics. Engaging in such activities can lead to severe legal repercussions, including imprisonment and hefty fines, not to mention damage to one's reputation. Keeping Enabling Java in the Tor browser is strongly discouraged for several reasons, including security risks, fingerprinting, and reduced anonymity. As Java is known to have security vulnerabilities, it can be exploited by cyber criminals to potentially steal your cryptocurrency funds and by state sponsored hackers to conduct surveillance on your activities. Using Google as a search engine, Google utilizes various tools such as Google Analytics to construct comprehensive profiles of its users. While this approach contributes to improving search results and overall user experience, it necessitates the collection of substantial personal information, including names and locations. Stop and never distribute child sexual abuse. CSAM. According to a recent report, dark web pedophiles are already using open source AI to generate child sexual abuse material. However, engaging in malicious activities such as distributing child sexual abuse material is abhorrent and illegal, whether on the clear net, the visible internet, or the dark web, for a multitude of compelling moral reasons. Criminal offense: the distribution and possession of child sexual abuse material is a serious criminal offense, and those involved can face severe legal consequences, including lengthy prison sentences. It is an indefensible crime that causes immense harm to children. Victim exploitation, ethical repugnance, destruction of lives, negative consequences for the internet. Engaging in such activities not only ruins lives but also leads to stricter regulations and monitoring of online activities. This compromises the privacy and freedom of all internet users. So that was what had to be issues of the day. Had to talk about the dark web and the ramifications. And internet, that was the newsletter for October. It also goes on further to talk about an international group of law enforcement agents disrupted the notorious Ragnar Locker ransomware operation. This happened an international law enforcement operation involving agencies from the US, European Union, and Japan seized the Ragnar Locker Group's dark web portal. The portal which the gang used to extort its victims by publishing their stolen data now reads: This service has been seized by part of a coordinated international law enforcement action against the Ragnar Locker Group. Announcing the takedown in October, Europol confirmed it took coordinated action against Ragnar Locker, which it says was responsible for numerous high-profile attacks. Alleged associates of the developer were also interviewed in Spain and Latvia. Ragnar Locker's infrastructure was also seized in the Netherlands, Germany, and Sweden. According to Eurojust, the EU agency that coordinates criminal justice cooperation across the bloc, a total of 9 servers were seized, 5 in the Netherlands, 2 in Germany, and 2 in Sweden. Eurojust also reports that it seized various cryptocurrencies, though their value is currently unknown. Ukrainian authorities, who are part of the 11 country operation, said in a separate announcement that its officers searched the premises of another Ragnar Locker suspect near Kiev and recovered laptops, mobile phones, and other electronic media. The Italian law enforcement agents also published a video that shows footage from a raid conducted by French, Italian, and Czech police agents, presumably in the house of the 35-year-old man they had arrested. Ragnar Locker is both the name of a ransomware strain and a criminal group that develops and operates it. The gang, which some security experts have linked to Russia, has been observed targeting victims since 2020 and has predominantly attacked organizations in the critical infrastructure sectors. In an alert published last year, the FBI warned that that it had identified at least 52 US entities across 10 critical infrastructure sectors, including manufacturing, energy, and government, that had been affected by Ragnarok ransomware. At the same time, the FBI released indicators of compromise associated with Ragnarok, including Bitcoin addresses used to collect ransom demands and email addresses used by the gang's operators. So next was there was mention of tech firms agreeing to allow governments to vet their AI tools. Leading artificial intelligence companies have agreed to allow governments, including the UK, US, Singapore, to test their latest models for national security and other risks before they are released to businesses and consumers. Companies including OpenAI, Google, DeepMind, Anthropic, Amazon, Mistral, Microsoft, and Meta on Thursday signed a landmark but not legally binding document closing a two-day AI safety summit in the UK. The document was signed by governments that also included Australia, Canada, the EU, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, and South Korea. China was not a signatory. An international panel of experts will also set out an annual report on the evolving risks of AI, including bias, misinformation, and more extreme existential risks, such as aiding in the development of chemical weapons. I believe the achievements of this summit will tip the balance in favor of humanity, said Rishi Sunak, UK Prime Minister and host of the inaugural event. Will work together on testing the safety of new AI models before they are released. We're ahead of any other country in developing the tools and capability to keep people safe, Sunak said from Bletchley Park, the building that was home to Second World War code breakers. United States Vice President Kamala Harris and European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen were at the summit, which also gathered together other allied nations to discuss issues of national security. Um, the United States government issued an executive order in the talking about the administration's broadest step in tackling AI threats. The US also said that it planned to step up its own institute to police AI. The UK agreed partnerships with the US and AI Safety Institute with Singapore to collaborate on AI safety testing. So that was the AI summit. Um, and the AI risk report, it was agreed on by 20 countries, will be modeled on the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, with the first to be chaired by Joshua Bengio, professor of computer science at the University of Montreal. The UK government AI task force ran a series of safety tests on the leading AI models to assess any potential flaws or risks of abuse, according to multiple people at one of the summit sessions. These included how the models could present a higher ability to spread disinformation, coordinate cyber attacks, or plan biological and chemical weapons attacks. Jack Clark, a co-founder of AI startup Anthropic, told the Financial Times that there needed to be an external independent referee to test the safety of models in development. We'll still do our own tests, he said, but I really want there to be a third-party legitimate testing authority that we can throw tests to and hear results from. So those were some of the issues of the day from October. In the November of the day, talked about the biggest ever DDoS attack threatens companies worldwide. Companies including Google and Amazon say they have fought off the world's biggest distributed denial of service attack. But we are warning internet users that these types of attacks could cause widespread disruptions unless cybersecurity measures are stepped up. A DDoS attack aims to make a website unreachable by overwhelming it with requests for data. This often results in websites crashing and online services being unavailable. Google says the attack began in August and was 7.5 times larger than the previous biggest attack, with its site facing a peak of 398 million requests per second. Google mitigated a DDoS attack which peaked at 398 million requests per second Cybersecurity firm Cloudflare said the attack was 3 times larger than anything it has faced before, with 1,000 attacks with more than 201 million requests per second. Amazon's Web Services division said it had faced a new type of DDoS event. All three companies said the attackers exploited a weakness in HTTP2, a newer version of HTTP the HTTP network protocol. They are now urging other firms to update their web servers so they are less vulnerable to such attacks or susceptible to such attacks. Any enterprise or individual that is serving an HTTP-based workload to the internet may be at risk from this attack. Google says organizations should verify that any servers they run that support HTTP2 are not vulnerable or apply vendor patches for CVE 2023-447 to limit impact from this attack vector. The next issue news issue highlighted was AI will heighten cybersecurity risks. Cybersecurity risks are likely to increase because of generative AI, according to a new UK government report on Frontier AI. The technology will allow the creation of faster paced, more effective, and larger scale cyber intrusion via tailored phishing methods of replicating malware. They say the safety and security risks of generative artificial intelligence to 2025 report says, but it does not see hacking becoming fully automated by AI. The, the UN said the formation of the body with experts from government, the private sector, the research community, civil society, and academia marks a significant step in its efforts to address issues of AI international governance and will help bridge existing and emerging initiatives. So there was also a remark made on the by remarks from Amber Kak on day 2 of the UK AI Safety Summit. Amber Kak participated as a civil society representative on days 1 and 2 of the UK AI Safety Summit. Here are her remarks from day 2 addressing government leaders and AI company executives, further entrenching the dominance of a handful of private actors over our economy and our social institutions. Concentration of power is a result of the accumulation of data, computer talent, and capital within a small number of companies who have reaped the rewards of the surveillance business model. The same business model that is today known to have caused serious privacy and safety harms to our society. And this situation was allowed to deteriorate because of the delayed action of regulators, not regulation, but regulators. There is a linearity and inevitability to the conversations we're having about AI. So she stated there is a linearity certainty and inevitability to the conversations we're having about AI, even at this summit. Larger scale equals more capability. What's underemphasized, however, is that this push to move to larger and larger scale only heightens the demand for resources that few players control, whether that's NVIDIA having a near monopoly, or it's AWS, Google, and Microsoft on cloud, or it's the fact that proprietary and high quality data sets that big tech ecosystems control give them an undeniable advantage. Outside of this room, there is momentum building on these issues. The Biden administration has made this clear by including in its recent executive order that the Federal Trade Commission, FTC, should consider rulemaking to ensure fair competition in AI. The Office of Management and Budget included a mandate to consider competition concerns in federal government guidelines, and the Competition and Markets Authority issued a report on the competition implications of LLMs. Concentration of power is an urgent concern for our time. It's bad for innovation, it's bad for national security. And as the chair of both the Security and Exchange Commission and the Bank of England have raised, we are creating single points of failure that are systematic risks to the financial order. It is deepening global inequality by leaps and bounds, but perhaps most importantly, it's bad for democracy to have a handful of private actors with outsized influence on our economic and political institutions. On that note, I want to call attention to the fact that I'm one of hopefully few civil society voices in the room today. This conversation absolutely benefits from multiple perspectives, but it needs to be driven by those that represent public, not private interests with direct conflicts of interest in the outcome. I also hope that when we convene again in Korea and again in France, we'll be in a very different room. So, the UN Secretary General said that the spread of hate and lies online is causing grave global harm, fueling conflict, threatening democracy, and undermining efforts to address public health and climate change. The UN Secretary General said that while the world should take warnings about artificial intelligence seriously, people should not forget that digital platforms are already being used to spread disinformation. This clear and present global threat demands clear and coordinated global action. Guterres said at a press conference to discuss a policy brief on the issue. He added that he plans to appoint a scientific advisory board in a few days and an advisory board on artificial intelligence later this year. Guterres also said he would support an international watchdog on artificial intelligence modeled like the International Atomic Agency. Around the world, some tech companies have done far too little too late to prevent their platforms from contributing to violence and hatred. Guterres added. He said that the UN will develop a code of conduct for information integrity on digital platforms ahead of a summit of the future next year. Hackers targeted relief groups working in Israel and Gaza, raising concerns about the growing vulnerability of humanitarian organizations to cyber attacks. The attacks disrupted critical operations and potentially compromised sensitive data, highlighting the need for better cybersecurity measures in the humanitarian sector. So, ransomware attacks continued to plague organizations throughout November with notable incidents involving Lockbit targeting financial institutions and Blackbuster hitting a law firm. These attacks underscore the importance of maintaining proper backups and having comprehensive cybersecurity plans in place. So, that was all for the issues of the day for October and November. December's issue will be out before the new year, and I hope to be up to date with other things. I have some of my other uh, issues. Will I want to do some special supplement before the year ends to talk about some issues that are pertaining to this the days before we end 2023. So on that note, I hope you have enjoyed my breakdown of the issues in October and November from the issues of the day. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thank you. Please subscribe.